What's up, everybody? I'm Johnny Christ, and you're listening to Drinks with Johnny. Today, I share my loaded Bloody Mary recipe with Ozzy Osbourne bassist Blasko. We get into it and talk about his time with other big acts like Danzig and Rob Zombie and how he came to be a manager in the biz, plus much more. And stay tuned till the end for a special announcement regarding the show. So kick back or continue doing whatever you're doing and enjoy the show. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to a very special edition of Drinks with Johnny. I am at a different bar. I'm here with my very special guest, Mr. Blasko. How you doing, man?
What's up? Thanks for coming.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Appreciate it.
It's gonna be awesome. So we talked before we about to do this show.
Yeah.
You want to do a loaded Bloody Mary because it's daytime.
Right.
I think that's smart.
Well, so that would have dictated what we were doing.
Yeah.
Right? And we're like, oh, we'll be over about like 11 a.m. And I go, that is morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So morning means Bloody Marys.
Yes, it absolutely does.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start off showing the kids at home how I make my Bloody Mary. And first we're going to do the ice. Always make sure if you're going to pull ice like this, you've washed your hands, which I have. Usually you'd probably grab a spoon, but I am not prepared for that. So we get some ice going here, and then we're going to start off with my jalapeno infused vodka. So you set this in, it's super simple. Just put it in vodka in a carafe, chop up some fresh jalapenos, let it sit for about 30, 36 hours, something like that. And then you got yourself some good old vodka. We're gonna do like a 2-ounce pour, very messy 2-ounce pour. And then we're going to get some of the other awesome ingredients going. I'm gonna use Zing Zing as my Bloody Mary mix base.
Okay. I haven't heard of Zing Zing.
You
Zing
know,
Zang.
it's just a solid one. It's like a solid base, and then you can doctor it up any way you want after that.
Fair enough.
When you're making a Bloody Mary, as you know, it's kind of like everything's to taste, man. It's all personal preference, really. There's no exact way to make a Bloody Mary. Then we're gonna go into here. We're gonna get some Worcestershire sauce. We're gonna just do a couple dashes, so just a little bit of that, and then we're gonna do a teaspoon of A1 sauce. Get that in there, and and get a little bit of horseradish. Same, about like that, just a good glob, good glob.
Not playing around.
No, dude. You said loaded. I'm going loaded. This ain't even the crazy part yet. Then we're gonna do a little lime juice on that. Just a little touch, you know, just kind of break up the acidity and, you know, all that good stuff. And a few dashes of Tabasco. Next, we are going to stir all that up. So here we go. We're gonna add bacon. You always need bacon in a good Bloody Mary. And then here's the big kahuna for you, my man. I've got my skewer with cheese, a mini corn dog, chorizo, an olive, and a lime for you.
That is insane.
Yeah, that's the loaded Bloody Mary part right there. What we're gonna do, since I missed this part, is I'm gonna take one of these limes, get it nice and ready. And what we're gonna do here is I've created my own concoction of celery salt and Cheez-Its, and that's gonna be our rim on this drink. So you're just gonna roll it right around in there, get it nice and on there.
Yeah, don't be shy with
Don't
the
be shy.
Cheez-Its.
Yeah, gotta get in there. And you know what?
Yeah.
And that even gives you another added mix of it, you know?
So
And
that's
here we go.
next level, making your own rim.
Yeah.
Because I haven't heard of that. Sometimes they'll get crazy and do like a pepper mix,
Yeah.
which is cool, or like a cayenne.
Well, you know, to be honest,
you know.
I was getting this one ready, and I tried it with a couple of different rims, and tahini and everything like that, and then just
Yeah.
regular celery salt. Celery salt was good. I was like,
Yep.
I had some Cheez-Its sitting there. I was like, let's crush them up and put them in there, you know? So here we go, man. Try it out. Tell me what you think.
All right, here we go. That's amazing.
Thank you,
It's
my man.
totally amazing.
Thank
It's
you.
got all the right flavors and not an overpowering kick.
Yeah.
Right?
You want to be able to drink it. Sometimes
Yeah.
you get the ones that are a little too novelty.
Yeah.
Speaking on that, let's get into it a little bit
Which
while
is
making this other one.
You go for the super spicy ones whenever you don't have a lot of ingredients, just
Yeah.
to make it feel like something's happening.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? But this would be overkill if it was too spicy.
No, you want to get all the flavors going on.
I'm questioning how long I let the corn dog marinate.
Again, that's up to you, man. You
Yeah.
gotta make that decision on your own. So as I'm making this, man, I imagine you've had quite a few Bloody Marys in your lifetime. Can you tell me, so if you're anything like me, when I'm traveling on the road a lot, you know, every other day we're getting on a plane, going in an airport, doing that kind of shit.
Yes.
You want to have a Bloody Mary at the airport, you know?
Yeah.
And so I've had quite a few, so I imagine you've probably done the same. Is there a Bloody Mary that you've had in your life that sticks out to you?
No.
Okay.
Hence, I'm on the quest for the perfect one, which is most certainly this one. Because it's like, you know, when you're at the airport, you have to. A Bloody Mary is a necessity, but your expectations are so low just because of the lack of ability.
Yeah.
Every so often, maybe you're able to get in a bar, you know, at one that's maybe a little higher end that can throw a few things in there.
Yeah.
You know? But sometimes it's almost kind of like, too, it's like you're like, that's so average, right? So I'd be like, just get me a Corona and I'm just going to make a michelada out of it.
Yeah,
Just because
totally.
it's like, just because I need some excitement, you know?
Totally.
But a buddy of mine is a bartender. He introduced me to the loaded Bloody Mary.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, because I didn't even know what the options were, you know? Didn't even know that you could take it to another place.
That's the greatest thing about this drink. You can do whatever you want.
You can do whatever you want. And so he was working at a bar for a while, and I would come in and visit him, and he would hook me up with his version of it, which was great. But this is spectacular.
Awesome. So I'm living up to an actual bartender's recipe right here.
Yes.
This is good to know. This is good to know
Absolutely.
here. All right. So I think we were just about covered this part of the show. Let's again thank you for having me at your house.
Of course.
This is an awesome change of pace. Very special edition of Drinks with Johnny. But let's have our Bloody Marys. Move it on over to your couch, my man.
Great.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers. Yes.
All right, man. Well, thank you again for inviting me into your lovely home. This is quite the treat.
And forgot to mention at the bar, but you just christened the bar. You know, this is
awesome.
This is a new place for us. So this was the first drinks made in the bar.
Now that's fantastic. Yeah, appreciate that. So let's get into it, my man. Last time I saw you, I think was in Italy. We had a festival. You were playing with Ozzy, and Avenged were both out there, and it was just outside of Florence, right?
I think so.
Was that?
Yeah. I don't even remember what festival it was. One of those
I know
Italy Rocks Hard festival.
Yeah. It was one of the ones that like I was in my memory because I wanted to stick around and check you guys out.
Right.
And we did, and sitting there side stage, and you just came up and said what's up?
Yeah.
Which is it was cool because I was like, you know, you're in your moment. You never know. Each artist kind of has their own way of doing things on stage, right?
Yeah.
You know, like some people are like want to be very focused on what they're doing. Other people like you, like me, I'm kind of the same way. I'm having fun with people on the stage or in the crowd and everything like that.
Right.
So
It's because, you know, as you know, right, there's moments in the show as the bass player, right? If there's a drum solo, guitar solo, fucking something going on, you can peace out for a minute. And so and all those festivals is great because there's always someone hanging out like on the side of the stage and always on my side. So I get lucky in that way. And like, it's like, you know, I'll look over and I go, oh, it's Johnny Depp. And then so it's that same moment in the set when I get to go over there and I go, hey man, what's up? So, and I go, I just met Johnny Depp. That's pretty cool.
That's really cool. Yeah, that's the cool thing about those European festivals. Do you have like any other stories you remember about them? Like, cause everyone's traveling through them. We're all doing the same ones on same days, different days, whatever. We're all. It's always in the summertime, that June European festival thing. And a lot of people at home watching, like, you got to make it out to these things. They're just super cool, especially in the rock world. So yeah. Like
I'm still a fan, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm still a 16-year-old kid that doesn't believe that I get to hang out with all these fucking dudes.
Oh,
you know?
totally. I'm the same way.
And so it's like we'll be in a dressing room at a festival and in walks Rob Halford. And I'm like, fuck,
Rob Halford.
Fucking freaks, man.
And he just comes by to say hi.
Yeah, totally. Hey, what's going on, dudes? And you're like, what the fuck? That's crazy, you know? And like anything, like it's like no matter what, like, you know, it's like Alice Cooper walks in or, you know, especially on the festivals, like I said, because, you know, you got all those people in one place. And like Ice-T walks in. Like, oh man, Zach, I want to hang out with Zach. And I'm just sitting there like, what the fuck?
Yeah, this is awesome.
There's the Law and Order guy.
Yeah, the Law and Order guy. Oh, that's perfect. All right, well, let's get into, you're talking about your fandom. Let's start, around the age of 16 or even earlier. I read somewhere that you actually started out as a drummer, right? That was the first thing you picked up?
Not professionally.
Not professionally.
Yeah,
That was the first instrument you picked up.
Yeah, because who doesn't want to beat on shit?
I like that, man. Yeah, it's definitely the enticing part.
Yeah,
of it,
Bobby Brady, fucking destroy shit. But that didn't last long because of that very reason.
Yeah.
Of like, dude, where are you gonna bash on shit? This was like the '80s, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You didn't have quiet drum sets.
Yeah, you
drum
didn't have the
pads.
electric kid with the headphones.
No. And it was big. You
Yeah.
know, like you got this
yeah.
6-piece kit in a bedroom with neighbors and shit. Like,
Yeah, they're not
real.
happy about it.
Yeah, not real. So I had to get something with the volume knob. And my mom's like, bro, like, we're trading the shit in. You're getting something with the volume knob.
Yeah.
So then it was practically, I'm like, there's plenty of guitar players I know, right? There's no bass players. I'm like, if I pick bass, then I could be in a band because I know everybody else.
Yeah.
Like there's plenty of guitar players and drummers and singer dudes.
You put it all together.
Yeah, and I was like,
it's a strategic move.
And it worked out.
Yeah, there you go.
Like because every gig I got was very much because of that reason.
Yeah,
there was no bass players.
That's crazy. Yeah, no, that's smart. I think I actually always just really liked the bass. But there was a part of that though.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like when I was putting together before I had an instrument, I was putting together a little shitty garage band with a couple of my buddies, and they're like, well, "You should play bass." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, exactly. And but yeah, which is interesting, right? Because it's like the first guy that I liked was Gene Simmons. That was like the reason. Like,
Dude, bass, yeah.
Blowing fire and spitting blood.
It wasn't even
crazy.
necessarily for the bass playing.
No, I didn't.
It was just because it's fucking Gene.
Right. and so, but then it was just Kiss. But Gene was the dude that I liked the best. However, I wanted to be Peter Criss because everyone wanted to be Gene. At Christmas, at Halloween. Right?
Yeah,
like
everyone's dressed
no
like
one
that.
wants to be Paul Stanley, right? So I was like, I'll go in the middle. I'll be the fucking cat guy, which in hindsight makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
but
because you are a big cat guy, right? Yeah,
for sure.
That's funny. I was looking at your Instagram the other day, and I was like, "There's a lot of cat pictures on here."
Yeah, they may or may not join us. I don't know.
That's
they might,
perfect. I'm
they
good
might
with
be
it.
like
I love
overwhelmed
it.
by the
Love it.
cameras and crew and stuff. But yeah, so it was interesting. Then in hindsight, then I go like, oh yeah, now it all makes sense, right? Because who were my biggest dudes? Like Cliff Burton, Lemmy, Gene.
Yeah, all the ones you wanted to emulate were bassists. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's talk about like your career as a bassist. That's apparently the first more professional stuff was like that thrash band from Santa Monica that you had.
Cryptic
was it?
Slaughter.
Cryptic Slaughter. That's right.
Yeah. So that was a fun time. It's one of those things like you don't realize how bitchin' your life is until it ain't bitching anymore.
You don't realize what you have until it's gone, right?
Right. Like,
I think that was like a kick song too.
Yeah, totally. And so you gotta think of people that would fucking murder someone for this opportunity.
Yeah.
15 years old with my bros in high school that are 15 years old. You send in a demo tape. You're in a band. You're fucking in a garage. We had Scott mom let us rehearse in his garage because it was right next to the airport. No one's complaining. Fucking planes are landing.
Awesome. That's a good spot.
And then the band sends in their demo tape to Metal Blade Records, and then a week later, a contract comes.
That's amazing.
And we just fucking
15 years old.
Sign the motherfucker, send it right back to him. Woo, we're signed. Whatever.
That's incredible.
Lawyers, managers, fuck it. Just sign, whatever. Who cares?
It's a contract. It's what we were trying to do.
Right.
Got all sorts of shit in it you didn't want. But
yeah. But it's like we're kids, right? Like we're in high school, and so like you don't really understand. You're kind of just like, we just want to play music. Like we live at home. Like we have no responsibilities. Like we go to fucking high school.
Totally.
Like, and so
have nothing to lose.
Yeah. So got a record deal. 15. Put out a record every year I was in high school. So,
Oh,
so
shit. You had
16
4
years
records
old,
with it.
17 years old, 18 years old,
Wow.
you know, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. By the time I graduated high school, I'd already put out 3 records and toured and shit, like on Metal Blade Records.
That's so cool.
Right.
That's a different experience right there.
Pretty
That's
hot
rad.
opportunity. And then, you know, and then at the point that we all graduated high school, we all kind of went separate ways because everybody has shit, you know, shit they want to do, right? We kind of got that all out of our system, except for me. And you know, like everyone just wants to go about their lives now that we have to actually pay for shit, and not live with our parents, right?
Totally.
So everyone went their own way except for me that fucking moved to Hollywood to chase the rock and roll dream.
Kept going for it.
Fuck yeah, like fuck
You
that.
had a piece of it, and you're like, I want the whole thing.
That was just the taste.
Yeah.
That was the precursor.
That'll get you in.
Yeah, and so then from that point, like moved to Hollywood and just chased the dream, man.
Yeah, you kept doing it. So then next, I believe, was Drown, right? Did that come next?
Yeah. So that was the thing. So you got to figure that Cryptic Slaughter was 1985 through 1988.
Okay.
Drown was in the 90s in Hollywood when shit was happening in the early 90s in Hollywood. It was like, you know, bands were getting signed, like there was all this shit that you don't hear about now, like development deals, and, demo deals and production deals.
Well, there's still a lot of money to be made from those labels at the time, you know? I mean, that was shit ton, man.
Yeah.
So they were just, and they're coming off and everyone's still coming off the high of the 80s. I mean, literally.
Yeah.
So it was like,
and it was still hot though, you know,
Yeah.
MTV was still around. The transition from vinyl into CDs was still hot. People, you know what I mean? So it was just fucking commerce, crazy. So there was a lot of money floating around, man, and there was a lot of deals floating around. Everyone was getting record deals and stuff, and we were no different. You know, we were playing the clubs, doing the thing. It's like a Tool gets a record deal and blows up, and then Rage Against the Machine gets a record deal and blows up, and that was kind of the circle that we were swimming in.
Yeah.
You know, Jane's Addiction predated that time period a little bit, but that was the kind of shit that was going on. And so we did that. So we got a deal. We got signed by Michael Alago, who signed White Zombie and Metallica and stuff. And then we got Pantera and White Zombie's management. You know, so we thought we were hot shit.
Yeah,
man.
fuck
We're like,
yeah.
fuck everybody.
Yeah,
like,
we're good. We're good.
Right. This is it. This is
the
just
pinnacle.
Yeah, right. This is fucking limos and cocaine and hookers from here on out. You know. And that's not how it went down.
No, it never does.
And,
even if it does, it's only for a short time.
Yeah. And but that was a really good learning experience. It was fun. You know, I'm still friends with like Michael and the people that were, you know, worked us and everything. And
you obviously learned a lot from that experience.
Learned a lot, that I can kind of take with me now. And then you just kind of really saw that major label system at that point, to where they would pick up something. This looks hot. Let's throw it at the wall and see if it sticks. Yeah. It doesn't. Fuck off.
Yeah.
And
they could easily do that because there was
easily do that, man. And stuff. Yeah. I mean, dude, we spent like $500,000 making a record. You know, mid '90s, early '90s, like '93, '94.
That's a lot of money.
But you know, you're in a studio at that time. You're in a studio. The studio's $2,500 a day.
Yeah.
You know, you're in there for a fucking month.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Producers are getting paid $50,000. You know.
Yeah, they're not doing on points or anything. They're like, no, you guys got enough money. Just give it to me up front.
Yeah, and stuff. And then so you do that. You put the record out. You do a tour. You come back. It didn't stick. Fuck off. You're dropped.
Yeah.
You know, that's it. Party's over.
Yeah.
And that was the second band. So it was Cryptic Slaughter and Drown. That was the second band that I was in that was a band.
Yeah.
Like a band that I was in that I had something to do with.
Yeah, I gotcha.
At that point, I was like, this seems like a struggle, like a drag. Like I would rather just be told where to show up. Here's the set list. You know what I mean? I was just like, that was the moment where I go, I'm just gonna go into hired gun guy land.
Okay.
And I kind of made that very conscious decision.
Yeah. Okay.
And pretty much have stuck to that plan.
Yeah, obviously.
You know,
I mean,
since
we get through some of those other ones. I mean, before we get into that, though, I know there was a brief time in Suffer where you put down the bass actually and played guitar and vocals.
Yeah, that seemed like a fun idea. I don't know.
Yeah.
Terrible in hindsight. but yeah, I mean, that was a time period whenever you're just trying to find yourself.
Yeah.
You know, like and you've got free time, you've got creativity, you're bursting at the seams, you just fucking want to try to find that thing, and that wasn't it.
Yeah, wasn't it for you?
Yeah.
I mean, so that was pretty brief, and then, as you said, you started getting into the hired gun kind of thing. Was that like right when you were getting into Danzig for a little bit there, or?
No, Prong was first.
Prong was first. Okay.
Yeah. So I got, and now Prong, the way that all goes down is that Prong was the same management as we had.
Okay.
It was the management was White Zombie and Prong and the Obsessed and Pantera and stuff. That was and Drown was in that.
Obviously awesome.
But
people
so whenever they were looking for a dude, like I got a call because I was in this sort of an immediate circumference of people you call right away. Like, oh, you weren't a total jerk off. Like whenever we managed you for 5 minutes. You know, how about we needed someone to fill in for Paul on this tour. Yeah, fuck yeah, whatever, great.
Yeah.
Send me the set
Sounds
list.
good. Yeah.
Game
sounds
on.
good.
Where are we going? Europe? Fucking playing festivals? Great. I've never done that before.
Oh, that
Fuck
was your first time doing that kind of stuff too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Went to
awesome.
Japan. Oh, cool. Never done that before.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
God,
Let's go.
Those are fun, man.
The best.
Yeah. Super rad. So then after Prom came Danzig?
Yeah.
So obviously everyone, I mean, I gotta imagine everyone who's been in contact with Danzig has at least one good story. Do you have one for me, or?
My Danzig period was very short. Like it ended up
Okay.
only being like one gig, even though I was in the band for a while and stuff. But it was sort of this weird chasm of empty time when he was maybe getting into other things, like trying to make movies, and he was doing comics and whatever. And but the interesting part of the Danzig band that I was in, it was me who went on to do what I did. It was Joey C. was the drummer. He went on to be the drummer in Queens of the Stone Age for a long time. And then the guitar player was Dave Kushner, who went on to be the guitar player in Velvet Revolver. So that was, you know, so we had a pretty fucking good band.
Yeah, nice set of little all-stars there, you know?
And then we all, you know, went off to do our own thing and stuff. So it was fun just to have a short tour of duty in the Danzig camp, you know, and stuff.
And then, of course, correct me if I'm wrong, then you get into the Rob Zombie role.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
So the interesting part of all that is whenever we were managed by the same company, Drown opened a few shows for White Zombie.
Okay.
So that's when I met Rob. So that was the connection.
That was the connection. Okay, cool.
I'm putting together the solo band. Are you doing anything? Nope. What do you need?
Yeah.
You know, could you play in my band? Sure. Fuck yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
Fuck,
That
sounds
rad.
awesome.
Yeah,
Great.
so you're
Let's do that.
just doing that for a while.
And then that was 8 years.
Yeah, that's cool.
That
you
was fun.
guys had a great run over there with that too. You know, awesome.
And it was
obviously.
cool. I mean, I think the expectations for that, not his expectations, but I think the expectations from the sort of the people around him in the camp was kind of like, we're just gonna let him do this solo thing, and then he's gonna go back to White Zombie. So don't get too comfortable here.
Yeah, and couldn't
You
be
know.
more wrong.
Right. And then Rob's like, fuck that. Like this thing is gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
You know, and it was.
That's when it really became Rob Zombie for most people. You know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that must have been really cool. You got any what are some fond memories you can say of the 8-year stretch? I mean, you said you're more moved into the hired gun thing. Did you have any influence in your actual playing or songwriting on that, or was it was just here's the homework, get out there
Yeah,
and
I
do
didn't
it?
really care about
Yeah.
that. Like I don't feel like I'm getting sawed off at the waist because my creativity is getting cut off because I can't write songs. Like I'm pretty admittedly a shitty songwriter anyway. So it's kind of like let the professionals handle that.
Yeah.
Like let me just support.
Yeah, that's cool that you
the
have that
thing.
perspective. You know, a lot of people wouldn't be able to share that idea. You know, and just relinquish all those responsibilities in our world. So that's respectable, man.
I just want to like play and
Yeah.
like be cool and have fun, and that's it.
So being around Rob, though, you guys probably discussed, or I'm sure he discussed in passing, that this is right when he's really starting to produce movies too, right? So like
He was right in the middle of that. Like,
Yeah.
so we had a couple year run, and then we took a little time off for him to make his first movie.
yeah,
which, great.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a passion that he's had for a long time, and he needed to chase that down, and clearly it wasn't a waste.
Yeah, it didn't suck.
No, no. Like I just went to a premiere of his a few weeks ago, and that was like, I don't know, his fucking 7th or 8th movie at this point.
Yeah, jeez,
So
you're just killing it, man. That's super cool.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we go on to Ozzy.
Yeah. So that's kind of a similar trajectory of like just being in front of the right people at the right time.
Yeah.
I mean, Zombie, when I was in Zombie, we had done 4 tours with the Ozzy camp, whether it was Ozzy or Sabbath.
Yeah.
Even when I was in Prong, we did an Ozzy tour. So
so
I had
just
been in
kinda-
front of that camp like 5, 6 times. So it's one of those things, like, as it's like, man, we're looking for a dude. Like, who do we look at? We look at the people that are the closest in our proximity.
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
have a good reputation.
Yeah. And weren't dicks.
Right. That.
That's another lesson for you. If you're out there, just don't be a dick, because you don't know who you're gonna end up working with later.
That's the biggest. And so I got a call, and they were like, hey, we'd love you to help us on this tour, and we'll see what happens. And I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
All day long.
So I wanted to ask you though, like, how that was when you're coming in there. Did you coming in right after Robert Trujillo, right? Or was that?
Well, so there was Trujillo. After Trujillo, they did this weird thing where they flopped, right?
I remember that. I remember seeing that in Bass Player magazine, where it was Newstead came over to play for Ozzy. For
right. And Newstead did a short run with them, and I don't know how that all. I don't know if the commitment was just a small commitment anyway.
Yeah.
Or what. But then I got a call after that, and they were like, yeah, like we got this tour and we're looking for a dude, and I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, dude, count me in. So there was a moment whenever I was doing both. Like I was doing Zombie, we were finishing a Zombie record, and Ozzy was calling to do like these little one-offs, like these little like fly gigs. Like, oh, we need you for the weekend. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And Rob's like, what's up? And I go, I don't, dude, just going with the flow, man.
Yeah. Totally.
And then it got to a point to where I kind of had to make a decision, because Ozzy was getting busy and so was Rob, and I couldn't do both, and neither want me to do both. And I was like, okay, cool. So I called my buddy and I was like, yo, like you gotta help me out. I go, I'm joining Ozzy's band, but I don't want to leave Rob hanging.
Yeah.
Will you come here? Let me show you all the songs. Like, I'll walk you through the paces. And he's like, yeah. So he flew out. I got him up to speed.
Yeah,
and I told Rob, and I go, you won't even know I'm gone. I'm literally just gonna go over here, and I'm gonna put some in my place, and then like you won't even know I'm gone. And it was great, because people were like, and then one of the first tours was a Ozzy Rob Zombie tour, and people were like hitting me up going, dude, you're doing double duty, man, that's crazy. And I go, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
But the point of it is that, you didn't know I was gone.
Yeah.
So
you set it up right.
Yeah.
That was real cool.
And then Matt's been there for a long time now, and he's his own dude with his own visibility now,
these guys
and he's killing it.
Yeah.
And
We've done a lot of shows with Rob Zombie over the years too, so seeing all that stuff is fucking always a great show, man.
Yeah.
Always a great show. But that circles us back to the beginning of our conversation. We're in Italy. That's a great show too. You got going right now. You got Zakk Wylde on the other side of the stage. Obviously Ozzy in the center. What was that like coming into their world, because they had already been together for so long at that point, right?
Yeah.
So like, what was your first impressions of their dynamic? I know you'd probably seen it from the outside, as you mentioned, with the camps kind of meshing over and everything like that. But like when you were officially coming over to be the bass player for Ozzy, what was that first impression like?
Yeah, I mean, it was like jumping out of a moving car.
Yeah.
Like trying to like chase a train in motion.
It's flying with or without you. You better catch on.
And but it was awesome, obviously, but it was a thing where you just go, I can't even believe this is happening right now.
Yeah.
Right? Like you just look over and you go, what the fuck?
It's metal royalty. Like at the top of metal royalty.
Am I playing these songs with these dudes? Like, like when you think about it, you're like, heavy metal exists because of that dude.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm here because of that dude that played and wrote those songs that I get to play. And that's nuts. It's one thing playing in a band with a dude that you respect and you like his music or whatever, but like we're all here
because
now.
Because of what
because
was
of
done
that dude.
What was done in the late 60s, early 70s.
That's a tremendous responsibility.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm glad you brought up the responsibility too, because I wanted to ask you, in said magazine where I remember seeing that Newsted and Trujillo were flopping, I also read somewhere that like Newsted was saying something about like, oh man, Ozzy's really a stickler out there. Like if you hit a wrong note like one night, he'll let you know about it, kind of thing. And he's like really on top of it, which was different because I could imagine he'd come from Metallica where he wasn't just a hired gun. You know, they were in a band together. So he's doing the hired gun gig for the first time. Right. And he's like learning that. So is that pretty spot on for your experience with Ozzy?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's something like that. You got to go in. Guns a-blazing, right?
Yeah, like you gotta be firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, you can't be horsing around.
Yeah.
Like you can't be phoning that shit in.
Totally.
You know? Because it's like, I mean, think of the responsibility. Like Ozzy's in the middle, you know, Zach's on the one side, and you're on this side. You gotta balance the scales.
Absolutely.
You know, you got it, because it's all about the dude in the middle. You know, and making sure that dude looks like no one gives a fuck about me, but they give a fuck about him.
I gotta say, when I watch you play with Ozzy a couple of times now, it's like you're holding it down, man. You got your energy's out there. You got the good look and everything. It's fucking. I think you're doing a fucking.
Well, thanks. But I'm saying that. But that's the job.
Yeah.
Right. If the job was backing Bruce Springsteen, it's a different gig.
Yeah, totally.
You know. But I'm
E Street Band.
Yeah, playing the role of making sure that he looks awesome, right? And how does he look awesome? Because his band looks fucking awesome.
Yeah.
You know, and he sounds great, and the set list is great, and all that shit. Production is fucking crushing.
So cool.
You know, so it's all the pieces that make it so that he's the best.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a tremendous responsibility.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's got to be crazy. So another thing I want to ask you about, you're an awesome bassist.
Thank you.
And we both have the same company making our basses, right?
Yeah.
Schecter.
Yeah, well, Schecter used to. Like when I was in Zombie, I used Schecter.
Okay, you're no longer.
Yeah, no.
Okay, I gotcha.
But still friendly with those dudes.
Yeah,
and,
they're still good
and but then I was like, you know, they were down to do something, and I was like, I like that body, but I like that neck. Can we Frankenstein them together and make something that you don't currently have on the roster? And they did. Yeah, I mean, they were accommodating.
That's cool. So that brings me, like, I had a very similar experience when I went in there. It was, I kind of did the same thing. I was like, but then it's not from either one of your companies, so you got to go figure out how to do it from over here. So I wanted to meld the Stingray with a Rickenbacker. And I was like, and that's what I wanted to look and sound like that. Like,
nice.
So I could run the gamut of everything. And they were really accommodating, great dudes and all in that. What specifically, what do you look for when you're chasing a tone or a feel on the bass?
It's impossible to describe, right? Because it's one of those things you just know when you got it.
Yeah, it's just something happens in the studio or like out there, like you get that right sound and you're like, yep, that's the one right there.
I think my secret is the less shit, the better.
Yeah.
You know, because I feel like the more stuff you start to muddy it up with, the more, like, it just, and you got to figure too, with Ozzy music or even Zombie music or whatever, it's, the bass is consistent. It's not a lot of fluffing around different fucking tones and shit. Like, that ain't the gig.
Totally.
Keeping it simple, which is advantageous for me, because that's the way I think about it too, but like.
And that's where you get the sounding the biggest too. Once you start putting that shit on, it not only muddies it up, but it starts squelching down your frequencies that you can even get on. So, and that's why strategically, guys like Zombie and Ozzy have that just thumping thing, and then they go figure, they're playing in front of hundreds of thousands of people, and then just boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that's cool. So I wanted to ask you a little bit about maybe some of your other hobbies or passions. I know that one of them you have that I just recently started listening to is your podcast, Managemental. And that's a really cool one. As I was reading the description and then listening, I was like, man, this is like the question that I'm sure he's been asked many times over his career that the interviewers always ask me, and I'm sure it's the same with you. Like, what do you have to say about any of those aspiring artists out there, and what advice do you have to give them? And I was like, he's literally answering that in a podcast,
right?
And like giving it back to the artist. So yeah, we got the podcast out now. You just did, 120th episode, I believe, something around there.
Yeah.
And yeah, so tell me a little bit about this. Like, what was the idea behind it? Did it have anything to do with that said question that I've been asked a million times, or?
Well, there is always that, right? There is always, what advice do you give? Or the musician asking, how do I level up, man? Like, what do I do? Like, what's my next play?
Yeah.
And finding an answer to that. I think if there's an agenda to the podcast, it's trying to uncover what the answer is to that question. Like, how do I level up? Because there isn't one answer.
No,
right?
And you gotta find different things that are gonna work for you.
At present, there's 125 answers.
Yeah, exactly.
But the idea spawned from Mike Mowry, who I do the podcast with, and we had a mastermind call once a week with a few other managers.
Okay.
And for anyone who doesn't know, a mastermind is like a bunch of dudes getting on a phone call and just talking shop and trying to help one another in terms of, because there's so much action going on in the world right now.
Yeah.
Like, it's impossible to keep up.
There's so many tools that can be used in different ways and everything like that. It's just super cool.
It's impossible to keep up. So you get a bunch of dudes together, you do a weekly call, and you just kind of catch each other up on what it is that you're all doing and any angles or, what, man, I just pulled this off or whatever. And then you can kind of help each other out and grow. And we did that for a while. And then it eventually whittled down to just the two of us.
Gotcha.
And in the midst of all this, he founds a podcast network called Jabberjaw Network.
Yes.
And so we're doing this mastermind call, and both of us just kind of like light bulb goes off, and we're like, why don't we just record this shit and put it on your network?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that seems logical.
Totally.
At least then it's like, serves a purpose.
Totally, and everyone listening is appreciative, That's
Yeah.
super cool.
So
you guys got a lot of good feedback on this, right?
Yeah, so what we did is, we're like, okay, that sounds great. Now, how's it going to be? Because, we listen to podcasts, we know how they are, and how's ours going to be different? So we did a couple of demos. Like we had, we sketched out some ideas, and we ended up doing maybe a dozen demo episodes. And we go it meanders. It's boring. It fucking drags. I'm throwing this person under the bus. You know what I mean? This shit stood out. It's just this is not good. So we took a step back. And we're like, it's got to be formatted, meaning that each episode has to focus on one topic.
Yeah, gotcha.
We'll pull a source from the internet, we'll break it down, we'll discuss it. That'll be the one topic. 30 minutes, max. So that way, it's like, an hour is good, but not everyone has an hour commute.
Totally, yeah.
So we figure, 30 minutes seems like someone could squeeze that in, and then if they want, they could squeeze in another one or whatever.
Totally.
But 30 minutes seems like a digestible amount to where we remain focused and the listener can remain focused for 30 minutes. So that was the idea. So we did, all right, here's the plan. Formatted, 30 minutes, bam, let's go. And when we started doing that, then it all made sense.
Gotcha.
So that's what we're 120 plus episodes deep on.
Which is quite an accomplishment, man. It's
Yeah.
really cool. It's really cool.
So
So you mentioned though that you do listen to other podcasts. Is there any other ones that you're particularly stoked out? You still currently listen to other podcasts, or was that
at that point, I think there was John Lee Dumas is doing his, and he was a huge influence. His were 15 minutes or something.
Oh,
but
wow.
conceptually the idea of what it was. There was a lot of short form podcasts that kind of helped us, that inspired us to do that. And then currently I listen to, there's the DIY Musician podcast that is a couple of guys, and it's sponsored by CD Baby.
Oh, cool.
And that's a cool music business one. But aside from music, Mike Tyson has a podcast that's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
Listen to that.
I gotta listen. I keep hearing about that one.
Yeah, it's this but with weed.
Perfect. I could do that. Tyson, I'll be on your show, man.
Yeah. And then my favorite one that I've been listening to is Group Chat. That is 3 guys. I'm blanking on their names, but they're all like clothing apparel owners, like Young and Reckless and Menlo Club and 5-4. So they own these brands, but it's cool. Like they do it 3 days a week, and it's 1 hour, and it's really cool. It's inspiring, and it's like hot topics and current events and news and pop culture and stuff. So in the course of an hour, they kind of, it's my news. Like, you know what I mean? It's 3 days a week, so they keep me current.
That's cool, that's cool.
And they're younger than me, so it's like, so they're hip to shit. You know, so.
It's always good to like try and keep a little younger, especially.
Yeah. So that's the one that I'm listening to the most right now.
Okay.
But I'm a huge podcast fan. If I had more time in the day, I would listen to more.
That's funny. I started getting into podcasts before I created the show and everything, because there was this. I grew up a big like wrestling fan, pro wrestling fan.
Oh yeah.
So there's this 83 Weeks with Eric Bischoff, and it covers like the WWF versus WCW Monday Night Wars and stuff. Nice. And I just fell in love with listening to that. Yeah. And I got a 2-year-old son, so he's still napping like once a day, like in the middle of the day. So I'm like, I walk him outside and just fucking pop on the headphones and just zone out and listen to some shit. So like that's why I was just curious if you had any like really cool podcasts.
Yeah, huge fan. Like I said, I would be way more into more if I had the time.
Yeah, that's really tough. But what's good, what I liked about it though is even the longer podcasts, some of them get a little too long, I agree, but like some of them, your phone will just pick up where you left off when you like go back up.
No, which is great.
It's like reading it's an audiobook to me. So a lot of these ones that they put them together in a longer form, they get like an audiobook kind of
feel. Disgraceland is a fantastic one. I love that guy. He's a musician. Cast Iron Hike, I think I don't remember what band he was in, but he does a great one, and it's all rock true crime. So true crime within the rock and roll.
That's pretty rad.
It's
I gotta check that out.
Yeah.
Yes, I listened to a couple of like the true crime ones. I don't know, like S-Town, and I listened to some like cult ones where they go in and dive into the mind of these, Mansons and all these guys.
Yeah.
It's super.
So that's a heavy recommendation.
I'm gonna check that one out for sure.
Yeah,
I'm definitely gonna be checking that out. All right, man. Well, Halloween just passed, man. How was it for you? What's Halloween like around the Blasko house?
It's as you can tell, it's an important holiday.
Yeah.
But
you guys dress up? You guys go to parties and dress up? Like
it depends, right? Like if there's an event like this year, Halloween's like on a weekday or something, so it's kind of a bum out. Yeah. So like the weekend is like after.
Yeah.
Like so it's like whenever it's in a weekday, you go like, do I celebrate the weekend before or the weekend after? I guess both weekends, but who's up for it? And like, I've
learned over the years. I do an annual Halloween party at my house.
Yeah.
I've been doing it for 12 years now, and I always do it the weekend before when it ends on a weekday. Okay. Because I found if you do Halloween after, everyone's done with Halloween.
It's done.
Everyone's like, I just did all my Halloween shit. I'm not gonna party.
Thanksgiving again. Stuff is already up.
Yeah, it's already everyone's getting ready for the turkey day, which brings me to that.
Yeah.
What's Thanksgiving like? Do you guys celebrate Thanksgiving? Like, what's that like for?
Well, Thanksgiving is usually right around my birthday. Sometimes on Thanksgiving.
Oh, right on.
So it kind of floats around.
I'm a November baby as well.
Oh,
November 18th. Yours
24.
24. Okay.
Yeah. So it kind of dances around Thanksgiving. So, but yeah, it's
Do you
cool.
put like birthday candles in the turkey?
Sometimes that's necessary. But usually it's just hanging out with friends and doing that, and family and
cool.
whatnot. I think our Thanksgiving, aside from a potential birthday celebration, is relatively standard issue.
Yeah, I gotcha. That's cool. And then lastly, take it or leave it, but I listened to, I think it was your very first podcast that's out there for Managemental. There was a part where you were releasing right before the end of the year. So you guys did, I think at the time it was like 2017 predictions.
Oh, predictions for the following
year.
Okay.
So I wanted to ask you, do you have any predictions for, what we might see coming up in 2020?
Well, yeah. I mean, in direct relationship to what we're doing. Video content is going to get more and more popular because it's more and more important and it's easier to do.
You know, you mentioned that on one of the other episodes. I thought it was brilliant too. You were talking about how bands can utilize YouTube and other videos, or Patreon. These kind of things are all out now, and it's just helping the brand. And as you said, like you I think one of the predictions actually might have been this. Like the fans are going to start like looking at that and find ways to get more content to their fans that maybe isn't even music, you know. And I love that because I was listening to it. I was like, that's exactly what I'm doing right now.
Right. Well, for all the kids listening now, I've said this shit like on the podcast 10 times at least, of like, YouTube isn't just to put up your music video.
Yeah.
Johnny is in Avenged Sevenfold, right? You're in a fucking big band. This show lives on the Avenged Sevenfold YouTube channel.
Exactly,
because it's external, lateral content for the fans, and you've created your own brand within the brand, because Avenged Sevenfold can't release music videos once a week. It's just not financially doable, right? You know, and there's not enough time. There's not enough songs. No. And but this is exactly the kind of thing that needs to be happening. Band members creating a brand within the brand that is external content for the fans, because it's just like, if I'm an Avenged Sevenfold fan and you're not giving me anything, then I'm listening or following something else.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
somewhere else. Yeah.
I'd rather have them listening to us, watching us, doing something within what we do.
And it's just fun, and that kind of stuff is fun too. I think for the fans too, you get to see more of us, and hopefully, you know, you're enjoying it and you're seeing and listening, and you know, like some of these interesting conversations I'm having with people like you and everything like that. So
and it's fun. We're just hanging out, and it's a cool angle, and you've got a logo on the pint glass, and it's like, you know what I mean? It's like you're putting in. There's an effort, but it all helps, and it's all for the fans. So I think one prediction: video content, stuff like this, people are going to start to get sharper about, mainly because they have to, but because it can be done. Yeah, it's easier to get done. I think, what else? Podcasts will continue to dominate, and then will become like sort of a primary source of where you're getting news and entertainment and pop culture. Like, I think people are going to be turning on the TV a lot less and listening to podcasts a lot more. And because, once again, those become so much easier to do, and so much easier to upload. It's like, man, you could turn this thing into a 5-day-a-week show, right? You know what I mean? You could be the fucking Oprah of fucking Avenged Sevenfold.
Now that's a title.
And but I feel like those are predictions that's going to become more important. And I also feel like, and you know, I said it here on Drinks with Johnny, but the album is dead. The album format is a goner.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I feel like these bands.
It's gonna be cool to see what everyone does with that, though. You know, because it's pretty evident. You know, if you're saying next year, you're giving.
I'm not saying that the album is dead next year, but what I'm saying is people are going to start to present their content and music in different ways, other than bundled into an album.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think that's really cool. I'm excited to see what. I know that. We personally are starting to think about that, or have been thinking about that rather. And you know, there's a lot of cool ideas out there. There's a lot of these really cool tools out there that you can utilize and have really, really great experiences with your fans listening to music. You know,
totally, because it's like, you know, the consumer just doesn't listen to music that way anymore. Like the album as a piece of art with Tool as an exception or whatever, but by and large, the music consumer, music fan, just doesn't listen to music that way anymore. They don't put a CD in and absorb it all. They don't put on a record and fucking turn it over and like they just don't. Like, they're making playlists, they're tagging in on a song. They don't have the attention span. And it's not the music's fault, right? Because it's like, if you look at what I can do on this, I can listen to a podcast, I can play a video game, I can listen to music, I can do all this shit. It's like, what do I want to do right now?
It's an entire entertainment center built into one fucking thing that's in my pocket all the time.
That's fighting for the attention of the fan, right?
Absolutely.
And if like I'm a fan, like, okay, well, maybe I want to listen to a record, but maybe I want to play a video game.
Yeah.
Maybe I want to chat with my friends. Maybe I want to fucking make a movie, fucking whatever.
Yeah.
Like I can do it all on here. So it's the struggle of the device, right? And just the content delivery system is that we're not fighting against, we're not fighting against the other music. We're fighting against all the content that's out there. And that's a lot to try and get someone's attention. Like, yo, I'm over here, pay attention to me. Like, you'd be stoked just if you could get them 3.5 minutes to listen to a song, let alone commit to a fucking record.
Yeah. That's I mean, you're nailing it. It's 100% the truth.
Yeah.
That's why, but in that reality, there's a lot of opportunity, I think, and that's like, and it's going to change
because it's the wild west.
Yeah.
What you guys are going to do versus what I'm going to do versus what Rob is going to do or Ozzy's going to do, right, is totally different.
Yeah.
Because it's the wild. It's like I said, it's the Wild West. Like you can make a record, you could put a single out, you could put an EP out, you could drop a song a month. You could drop a song. It's like whatever it feels like is going to work best.
Yeah.
It's like no one's going to have to follow a pattern.
And that goes back to the other prediction that brings, you're going to want to have that direct connection to your fans. And you're going to want that. It's going to be, I think it's going to make it so much cooler for the fans because they don't even know it yet, but they're about to get these like one-on-one kind of feeling ideas coming at them and like really being a part of whatever community that they latch onto,
Totally.
And I think it's going to be a really cool thing.
Yeah, and developing these types of things, right? Because what if Drinks with Johnny debuts in the new Avenged Sevenfold track? Because you can. If you wanted to, and that's where it's going to be, And if you're the kids, you got to tune in if you want to hear it before it comes out.
As you said, it's endless. So because you have like this obviously forward-thinking mind and everything like that. You started your own management company too, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, and how long have you been doing that now?
The day I joined Ozzy's band.
Okay.
So the day I joined Ozzy's band was the best day and worst day of my life. It was the best day of my life because I joined Ozzy's band. It was the worst day of my life because I realized that my hired gun career had reached the brick wall.
Yeah.
It had gone as far there was nowhere left for me to go, right? Yeah. I was at the top of the mountain without clothes. Yeah. Like naked at the top of the mountain and nowhere to go. And I was like, fuck, what am I gonna do? Right? Like it's like eventually he's gonna retire. Yeah. And then what am I gonna do? Then I'm gonna be some fucking old dude looking for a gig? Fuck that. Like I don't wanna be that guy.
Again, forward thinking.
Yeah, I don't wanna be that guy. And I was like, but I love music. I love metal. I love being in the midst of it. Yeah. Right? I love the creativity, right? I love the creation of it. Like I love being in the studio. Yeah. Like, I love working with bands. So I started it out of necessity, but also out of passion. Mm-hmm. I want to keep rocking and rolling, but I'm probably not going to be this guy forever.
Forever, yeah.
I don't feel like I am. But maybe I can be the guy that helps other people do this, and my experience can help build a legacy for future generations or some bullshit, whatever. Cool. But so that was the idea behind it. So yeah, I've been doing that for a long time now.
And currently you have Black Veil Brides.
Black Veil Brides who have toured with you guys.
Yeah, we became pretty friendly on that tour.
Yeah.
Rad dudes, man.
Yeah.
Was that first, or is that just the current one? Like, who was the first band?
They were one of the first.
Okay.
For sure, and then so now it's kind of built over the course of time. You got ebbs and flows in there or whatever, but I've been, but we're coming up on the 10-year anniversary for Black Veil Brides.
Yeah.
Their 10-year anniversary, which is monumental.
That's huge.
I manage Zakk Wylde, so anything Zakk Wylde related to Zakk.
It's going with you.
Yeah, and then High on Fire, who won the Metal Grammy last year.
Yeah.
Matt Pike,
Yep.
And then the estate of Dimebag Darrell. So
wow.
Yeah, so that's my heavy metal roster at present.
That's nothing to sneeze at.
So,
that's pretty heavy, man.
It's okay.
Dude, keeps you busy.
I'm hanging in there, man. Like, who, you know what I mean? It's like, I talked to, Brian Slagle, the guy that owns Metal Blade Records, because he's part of the reason why I'm here, right? He signed my first band. He helped plant the seed to get me to where I am now. And we talk about this shit all the time. It's like, man, every day that we wake up that heavy metal is paying the bills is a glorious day.
That's a great,
because it's like, when we were getting started, man, it was just a passion. Like, we would have done it, like, it wasn't even about money.
No, of course.
Him putting out Metal Massacre 1, me doing Cryptic Slaughter, it wasn't about money. It was about just the passion for it.
Absolutely.
Now it's, it's about making, shit happen.
We gotta pay for our drinks and our couches and shit,
And bars.
All right, man, thanks for the chat. I just wanted to ask, where else can the people at home find more Blasko?
I'm pretty much only on Instagram.
Okay.
So Blasko1313. Occasionally we'll pop into a Twitter and something else that's also Blasko1313. But Instagram is active.
That's
it's very
active.
active.
To go check you out.
Yeah.
And get all the news and information, everything Blasko.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. So for more of this episode and this conversation, go check out drinkswithjohnny.com. Find the podcast anywhere you podcast for the full conversation. And thanks again for having us. And cheers.
Yeah. Thanks. Very good.
That'll just about do it for this episode of Drinks with Johnny. Hope you enjoyed it, and please click the subscribe button, leave us a review and a rating. Love to hear from you. 2 more things. I will be taking a holiday break from the show, but do not worry, we will be back with much more Drinks with Johnny early February. I'll be going at it hard next year with more and more guests, trying to bring you a new episode every single week. Find us on Instagram and Facebook at Drinks with Johnny, and on Twitter at DrinksWJohnny, and let me know who you want to hear on the podcast. I'll do my best to get them. And support the show by heading over to drinkswithjohnny.com. We got some new limited merch coming out, including my signature Schecter basses that will now be able to be shipped directly to you. So be on the lookout for all that coming soon. Enjoy the holidays, drink responsibly, and as always, till next time, cheers.